The turmoil surrounding India's Adani Group has taken a decidedly political turn, with the opposition demanding a government response on the issue during an uproarious session in Parliament.
An opposition request for a debate on how the market rout at Adani was endangering the earnings of millions of Indians was rejected, and the chaos that ensued mean Parliament being suspended until tomorrow.
Well, Adani's listed companies have lost more than $100 billion in value in the week since a report by US short seller Hindenburg accused Adani of stock manipulation and accounting fraud.
That volatility also forced Adani to scrap a hotly anticipated share sale this week. Questions abound on whether it can service its debt, despite assurance by Chairman Gautam Adani.
The rout in Adani Group intensified after it scrapped a $2.5 billion share sale. Founder Gautam, now no longer Asia's richest man, had stubbornly pushed ahead with the offer despite Hindenburg's fraud allegations. Mr. Adani said it would not be morally correct to continue after the share price slumped.
For me, the interest of my investor is paramount and everything is secondary. Hence, to insulate the investors from potential losses, we have withdrawn the FPO. This decision will not have any impact on our existing operations as well as our future plans.
It's a major U-turn from Tuesday when the firm succeeded in getting the sale fully subscribed. But investors now wonder how Adani will fund its debt and expansion.
Being refunded will definitely bring back the question which you asked. How will they take care of their debt repayment? I personally think that their credibility to borrow and service this debt and sell some assets and service the debt remains high.
Worry also from lenders. Credit Suisse and Citigroup have reportedly stopped accepting bonds of Adani firms as collateral for margin loans. Adani's chairman says the group will review its strategy after the market stabilizes. The 60-year-old has famously said that the strategy behind his business empire was leveraging one company to fund another's expansion. That's seen his meteoric rise to become one of India's key industrial players, along with Mukesh Ambani's Reliance Group and the Tata Group. Adani's presence in key sectors like infrastructure, logistics and commodities makes it central to India's economy and financial system. And its rapid expansion is also courtesy of loans amassed from India's public banks, among others. The Hindenburg report criticized the group's, quote, extreme leverage. Adani's ambitious push into areas such as 5G and green hydrogen doubled its debt to about $30 billion in the past 4 years. Questions remain on whether the underlying businesses can grow fast enough to service the debt. In fact, the aborted share sale was part of efforts to allay concerns about its debt by turning to global investors to pump equity. Mr. Adani's upcoming infrastructure plans could likely take a hit from all of this, especially since they require large amounts of capital. With share prices remaining depressed and confidence being hit, it will prove hard to obtain funds.
Neha Punya joins us live now from New Delhi for more on this story. Neha, the Adani fallout has clearly had some political ramifications here, particularly with Gautam Adani. He's known to be close to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. How much of a headache, though, is this going to be for the government?
Well, so far, Dawn, this controversy has been playing out in the stock markets, but we saw uproar in both houses of parliament today as well. After budget proceedings were over, when discussions were due, you had 13 opposition parties coming together to demand a debate in the House, saying this is an issue of national importance and that regular business must be suspended. But the chairman and the speaker of both houses did not allow that, saying that this is not a demand that's called for. So in a rare move, you had these opposition parties addressing the press soon after, saying that They either want a probe that is conducted by a Supreme Court appointed panel or a parliamentary panel to probe these allegations. But this is an allegation, you're right, that's been leveled for a very long time against Prime Minister Modi, particularly by the Congress party and its leader Rahul Gandhi, who through his 135-day march has repeatedly accused the Prime Minister of crony capitalism. We've seen Adani's shares skyrocket in the last 3 years, ever since Prime Minister Modi won a second term in 2019 as well. So this is certainly going to be something the government will have to address. So far, we've not had an official comment from the government, but with the opposition now piling on pressure, experts say it's only a matter of time until the government will have to address this.
Neha, one minister was quoted as saying that the attack on Adani Group will have no impact on India's economy. But how convincing is that, given the group's size and India Public Bank's exposure to its debt?
It's certainly a concern, which is why some reports are suggesting that the country's central bank, the Reserve Bank of India, has already reached out to banks to get details on their exposure to Adani firms. There's even talk of a probe by the Securities and Exchange Board of India, but the SEBI has not yet officially commented on this. But some experts say when a share sale is cancelled like this at the last minute, it automatically mandates a SEBI probe, so that might just be a matter of time. But this entire controversy has led to questions about how the Indian stock markets operate. It's already an expensive market, and many experts say this might make investors more cautious. It might, at least if not long-term, impact short-term sentiment, and might have investors looking at other markets like China and Hong Kong. So many are calling for a detailed probe, saying even if these allegations are wrong, how the government handles this will in a lot of ways dictate investor sentiment for India.
The pressure piling on for Adani there. Thank you, Neha. Neha Punya there reporting live for us from New Delhi. And Liz will be back later on the show to check on the latest damage to Adani's stocks and the Indian markets.